Welcome to the Villa Pride Down Under podcast, an Aston Villa podcast brought to you here from Australia. As always, joined by my good friend Tes. Tes, how are you going, mate?
Doing really well. Really excited about today, to be honest with you, Spud. We need some good news, right? Because yesterday was a little bit of a nightmare. Or should I say this morning at 2 a.m. Was a little bit of a nightmare. But I'm doing good and I'm really excited for today's podcast.
Yeah, so we're joined today by Max Stokes from the brilliant YouTube channel. I should say award-winning YouTube channel.
Award-winning.
Villa on Tour. Max, thanks very much for joining us and taking the time out for us today, even though we're 7 hours ahead of you here.
7 hours, that's not too bad. Yeah, 2 a.m. start. That probably didn't help yesterday's results.
I'm 7 hours and Tess is 9 hours. He's in Brisbane and I'm in Perth.
Blimey. Max, I bet that makes watching Villa games interesting.
Yes.
So the 3 o'clock kickoffs at home are great, but we just don't get too many of them.
Blimey. Fair play to you.
Especially since we're in Europe as well, like the European games as well. You got midweek ones as well. You got to go to work like half like dead because you've been watching the game all night. So
that's awful.
Yeah. Although, having said that, we just have to make it to and from the couch. You have to put in a small bit more effort for the game. So
when we lose, that's probably a little bit worse, isn't it? You can just go straight to bed, but fair play.
Max, we'll touch a little bit off the game yesterday because I know you had a brilliant day. I mean, the result wasn't great. So we'll start off with that and we'll kind of look at overall your last couple of years as doing what you do and stuff because I'm a big fan of your content and I watch every episode. So do you want to talk to us about yesterday to start with, like in the build up to the game and after, let's say?
Yeah, it was a good day. I always say, like, when you lose, the best part of the day is beforehand, having a couple of drinks. It was a nice pub, actually, we were at yesterday, right on the river. The sun was shining. I love a nice August away day in the sun. It was really, really nice. Just a shame about the result, wasn't it? I don't know. I wasn't expecting it when the team news came out, and it was virtually the same as what we saw against Newcastle. You probably thought, we were just missing pace so much against Newcastle. So you probably thought, okay, we've got to maybe add that against Brentford, because Brentford, a lot of people are tipping to be down there and they will struggle this season. So Emery's comments after the game as well were a little bit concerning, saying we were firstly focused on a clean sheet and not losing the game. Thought, is that a little bit negative potentially? I just thought we should have gone there and played your best exciting attacking players and just gone for it. And even, it just wasn't great. But despite that, it was a good day out, as it always is.
So do you want to talk us through your day? So what, for a 3 p.m. kickoff in London, typically what time are you rising and what's your transport system?
Normally we get the train a lot now. So we used to get the coach, but now it's a lot of train. So we woke up at about 6 o'clock in the morning, and then we got the 8:13 train from Moore Street in Birmingham down to London, which was about a couple of hours on the train, so not too bad. Got to London about 10:30, and then went to the pub on the river and had a couple of beers there for a couple of hours, and then strolled over to the ground, which was right by the pub, which was ideal. Got in there about 2 o'clock, had a sausage roll, and then went and watched the game. So yeah, good day out.
I was watching your video a while ago there, and it actually looked like a nice sunny day in London too. So you even said it yourself there, it had all marks of a perfect away day, except for
exactly. Well, I did that intro. I filmed the intro to the video the day before. I was like, this is going to be a great away day. It's a bank holiday weekend for us here. Got an extra day on Monday off. The sun is shining. Can't beat an away day in London as well. Should have predicted it, shouldn't I? That we were going to lose 1-0 and it was going to be.
I'm going to take the responsibility into our group chat because we done the pre-game build-up, and I was like, look, to be honest with you, I do think Brentford are going to get relegated. I said, I'm not being hyperbolic here. I genuinely do. So I was convinced of it, and I explained the test in the pre-pod where I was coming from, where I thought it, and and I just text lads into the group just before kickoff and all. I said, we're going to lose today, lads, because what I said during the week. So I apologize now.
Yesterday I was like, Spud, so hold on a second. You're telling me that Brentford are going to get relegated? Wow. I didn't even think of that. And then all of a sudden I was just like, we have to beat Brentford. We have to beat Brentford. I just don't want it's coming by him in the arse to say that they're going to get relegated and then we lose the game. And what happens?
Well, Emery's got a great record against Brentford as well. He's never lost to them. And Watkins has got a great scoring record against them. So, what are we doing?
I said that, and I don't understand it. I couldn't understand for the life of me how we didn't go out and really go out on the front foot. It was unbelievable to me. And I tried to keep it positive all the time, but it was really, really hard to watch, especially at that time when I kick off at midnight and I'm in bed, lying there trying to watch the game and everything. And we had nothing. I just didn't understand what was going on there.
It's far too cautious, wasn't it? Far too cautious and far too slow. Okay, I understand it potentially. Just away from home as well. We seem to struggle away from home against sides, like Brentford. No disrespect to them. They didn't create a chance yesterday apart from the goal. It wasn't like, we went out, we gave it a good go. We were peppering their goal, hit the post, hit the crossbar, had a disallowed goal. There was none of that. We didn't. I think I saw a stat that said we had 17 shots. I couldn't tell you any of them. Maybe one overhead kick, but two shots target. Didn't create anything, did we? Which is concerning.
I was going to say,
it was concerning from the game before too, though, Max, because we didn't have a shot in the first half at all against Newcastle, did we? There was nothing.
Yeah, and I saw various stats this morning about it's the first time in, I think it was over 20 years that Villa haven't scored in the opening 2 league games, and people are tipping Watkins to hit 20 Premier League goals. I don't think he was the problem yesterday at all. I don't remember anything he did. He just got no service. You're starting the game with 2 on paper attackers in Rodgers and Watkins. You've got McGinn on the right-hand side, where I think in that system he's wasted a little bit. Tielemans in the 10, which gets immediately sacked off when Kamara gets injured after the goal and Buendia comes on. Nothing against Buendia. I think he puts himself about, but I would have liked to have seen when Kamara went down, Marlon, come on, Gesson, come on, maybe moving McGinn back, Tielemans back, whatever it was. I just think we had to add a little bit of something, and it never came.
The disappointing thing for me is because I don't know what it was like in the stadium, but obviously I made that prediction about Brentford at the start of the game, and at full time my opinion didn't really change about Brentford. I still think they're going to struggle this season. I think it's just I just kind of think McGinn, right? I think he's kind of shoehorning that right. But I do think there is games where it's effective, and I actually do think it was the right call against Newcastle starting last week. I think he might have changed it, but I can totally understand why he did it. Newcastle obviously have a lot going on in the club, and they could have came up fired out, and they're the kind of games you need to have McGinn. But if we're not going to use Malin and Gesson and them against Brentford in games, we should be that. When are we going to use them? That's
I just thought it was just far too easy for Brentford yesterday. They won't have. They just set up, and it was just so slow. They didn't have to think about anything until Gesson come on, and the fullback was like, okay, actually, I've got to switch on a little bit here. But until then, it was so routine, sideways, backwards, and I get control, all of this, that, and the other. Emery said that we dominated the game. If you think dominating the game is passing the ball between your centre-backs 150 million times, then okay, we dominated the game, but Kelleher didn't have to make a save, did he? So, it's really, really concerning.
You can have all the ball you want. What is it that Jose Mourinho used to say? Okay, you have the ball, we'll take the 3 points.
Exactly. That's exactly how it went.
So look, unfortunately, all the other pods are going to cover this to death for the week, so I'm not going to bog you down too much about the game yesterday, because I think there isn't too many highlights to park out for. But I know you've mentioned before that Brentford probably is one of your best away days for trips-wise within England. Do you want to talk to us about some of your best away days so far in Europe?
Oh, yes. There's quite a few now. So what have we had? 2 years in Europe now.
Yeah.
There's been some fantastic ones. Whenever anybody asks me that question, I always go back to Zrinjski Mostar in December 23.
It's one of my favourite videos as well.
It's absolutely fantastic. I would never, ever dream of going to Bosnia on holiday or anything like that. But now I've been there, and Mostar was absolutely beautiful. It was the middle of December, I think it was. I know for you guys it's different, but December is meant to be freezing. I was expecting it to be like -5 or whatever it was, but it was actually like 15, 16, 17 degrees. We're having food outside. It was lovely. And I think this small town in Mostar, it's got so much history from the sort of wars that were going on in the 90s. And it gets very, very busy in the summer, actually. But obviously, we were there in December, so it was really, really quiet. Not too many tourists there at all. I think the allocation for Villa fans was about 350, 400 tickets. The ground was basically a running track. I've never been
some character to that ground.
I think behind the goal, during the week, it's a car wash. But then, obviously, when there's a match day, that gets sacked off, and then all the ultras come in. It's just absolutely bizarre. And I've never been so far away from a football pitch, even further away than like West Ham, for example. You're so far away, up in the gods, in a weird sort of cage. You get off the bus that takes you from the city centre there, and you're greeted by about 50 German shepherds and soldiers that side, and then 50 German shepherds and soldiers on that side just looking at you. It's like, we're not going to cause problems. Like, we've got a reputation, maybe English fans, but we're not going to cause any problems here. There was about 3 portaloos for the Villa fans to use. The steps down to the seats were absolutely gigantic and basically rubble. So yeah, I won't forget that one. It was fantastic.
Well, how were you treated by the locals around the town of Mostar? Because obviously it would have been very clear that you were Villa fans and you spent a couple of days there.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I think there's a couple of teams in Mostar. There's Zrinski Mostar, and I can't off the top of my head remember the other one. They play in red. I think that's a massive derby. They don't get on, but it was actually the team we weren't playing that had a couple of issues with us. I think a couple of people had their flag stolen by the other teams. But Zrinski Mostar fans were delightful. Absolutely, some of the most friendly opposition fans we've ever come across. We were getting the bus from the away end after the game back to the sort of town centre, and it was just, we were just singing on the bus and they were just clapping us, and it was just total respect. I know a lot of Villa fans that were actually in the home end with basically the Bosnian ultras, and they were just taking in, and people went, obviously I went back to the hotel room to edit the video, but people went into the pubs in the town after the game and just having drinks with the Bosnian locals. It was really, really nice and friendly, and that's what it's all about.
You kind of have to remember too, like we draw the likes of PSG and Bayern Munich in the Champions League, you know, and we're like, oh, they're coming to town. But from up there, Villa is like them coming to town, you know what I mean? It's a massive club coming to their small town in Bosnia. So yeah, it's good to see that they're given that respect. It's a brilliant video, and I love with your videos, Max. I love you don't just do the game, you give a little bit of a tour of the city too, and I think that's what's kind of super endearing about the podcast.
That's what it's all about. That's why I love the European games, because I've liked turning the channel now. It's not just like, oh, we're going to Man City again, we're going to Old Trafford again, we're going to Newcastle again, and we know we're going to lose. It's like it's basically a travel channel now, which I think's great. So I don't ever want to not see us in Europe now, because I don't know what I'd do.
The podcast has gone too far. The YouTube channel's gone too far now for you not to be back in Europe again.
I know. I might just sack off the football and just go to random Croatian villages just to vlog them. Why not?
I'll tell you what, one thing I found is I find your content unbelievably amazing. I love watching your content because nobody else is really doing anything like it. That I've seen in the way that you do it. What made you start doing it, and how long ago, just for those who are in Australia at the moment, how long ago have you started to do this actual vlog? And because you go everywhere, like literally home and away, like it's unbelievable. The footage that we get to see, the atmosphere inside the stadium, you get to feel all of that stuff. Can you give us a little bit of an insight when you started, how you started it, and why you started doing it?
Yeah, so I started it when Villa were in the second year in the Championship. So it was September 2017. And I've always wanted to be like a cameraman. I've always been interested in creating content. And like when I was little, I remember drawing like cameras, and I wanted to be a cameraman ever since I was tiny. And
really, that's class.
Yeah, I love it. I've always wanted to be, and like my 9-to-5 day job is sort of photography, videography, that sort of thing. So I've always had an interest in it. Obviously always had an interest in going to Villa games as well, and I started going, it was sort of in the Championship days where I started going to every single game home and away, because it was fairly easy to get tickets back then when the demand wasn't so high, and you got massive allocations at like Preston, Blackburn, when you've got 7,000 tickets available, so loads of people could go. It was really easy to go, and I just wanted to cover it. It wasn't because, I want to become a vlogger, or I want to create a massive YouTube channel or anything like that. It was just purely for myself and for like my mates to look back on and think, oh, do you remember that 3-0 win at Barnsley? Let's go and watch the video. Like, it's just a 2 or 3 minute video of the goal, like the scenes or anything like that. I didn't put my face on it too much then, because it wasn't really about me. It was just, I wanted to watch the content that I'd filmed back then. Yeah. And it wasn't even about the day, to be fair. Back then it was, I didn't really come on to that. Like, there was a good group of lads that I went with, but it was a little bit embarrassing. I don't want them to sort of see what I'm doing. Like, it's a bit, I don't know, there's a bit of a stereotype about filming at football, and it's like, oh, that's not the sort of lad culture. It's all about alcohol and doing all sorts. But I just love doing it, and I've done it ever since. And I've done it. It's nice because the channel's gone on that sort of journey that the Villa have gone on. It's sort of matched. So I started it in the Championship and taken it all the way to the Champions League. And like we've talked about, just now I've incorporated the travel side of things. And if you actually look at it now, like the videos are 15, 20, sometimes longer than that, minutes long, but only a short amount of it at the end is about the football, which is why I think it still does okay when we lose a game, because it's about what we do before and sort of the fun that we have. And it's quite relatable as well. It's like everybody wants to go to the football with a close group of mates and have a laugh and have a drink. That's what it's about, essentially. So I think people can relate to it, and that's why it does okay.
I find it amazing. You edit your own videos. Sorry there, Spud. You edit your own videos and all that kind of stuff. And as you said, growing up, you wanted to do the filming and the photography and all that kind of stuff. And like, I've tried to do some of this. I love doing that stuff as well, but I've been trying to do it. It's hard work. But you literally will spend the day before maybe filming just your intro, for example, and then you'll go and do the day. Then you'll go back to your hotel room, or you'll get the train home, and you're sitting there and edit. That's hard work, man. Like that's real hard work to try and get those shots so that you can actually give that story.
Yeah, it is. I sort of don't, because I'm so used to it now, and I've done 550 videos, and I'm just used to it. I don't sort of realize, like I was getting the train home from Brentford yesterday, got the 6:30 train from Marylebone, got back to Birmingham at about 8:30, walked through the door here at like 9 o'clock at night. And I guess normal people would just have some food and go to bed. But I sat here until 12:30 editing. But it's not like, oh God, I've got to edit this video. I'm actually, even if we have lost, okay, it's not ideal. I'd rather we did win the game to edit people celebrating, whatever. But I know that before the game, I've got fun stuff of me having a joke with my mates. So I still look forward to editing it. Like I said, I'd rather we won the game. But yeah, it's 3 or 4 hours after every game I get back and edit. So yeah, when it's a night game, it's not ideal. I am up till 3:30 in the morning, but I'm not moaning. I absolutely love it, and I love putting my spin on the videos. I edit all of them, and I like to have that control over it. A couple of times people have come to me and said, okay, I'll edit your video for you, whatever, but I'd never let that happen, because I want to be in control, and I want to sort of like my baby in a way, so I want to be in full control of all of it. But yeah,
and it shows as well.
I think as well, like, you know, because like with content like that, I do think it does show in what you're producing, the hours that are going in, not just for the filming, but after as well. I'm not sure, not just with Villa, but other contents I've watched as well with different clubs and stuff. I'm not sure everyone's putting in that effort after, because it's such a long day and you are tending to, I'm sure there's times you want to just get home and jump into bed, but
yeah,
you know, you obviously want to be proud of the content you're putting out the next day too. So, and it does show on the product. And
I think with football as well, it's not like I could have gone to bed last night and edited till like 2 o'clock this afternoon, because with football people lose interest so fast, and it's like you've got to get the video out as soon as possible, because people will just lose interest really quick. Like after tomorrow, does anyone want to hear about Brentford again? Really? Maybe some people, absolutely, but a lot of people will just zone out, and that's absolutely fair enough. So I have got to, I guess with other YouTube videos, if you are just doing travel vlogging, that's timeless, that can go out with whenever. But with football, it's got to go out as soon as possible, because like I said, people just zone out, which is fair enough, especially when you're
that was one of the pieces of advice Neil and Paddy actually gave myself and Tess as well, because we used to always record, test and edit, and Neil and Paddy said to us, like, because they've both been on here, and I know them kind of personally outside of pods as well, and they were saying, try and move to the live pods if you can, because games come so thick and fast, episodes become irrelevant very, very quickly. You know, if you like, you know, like if you're, there's like, especially when Villa in Europe and there's a game on a Saturday, there's a game on a Wednesday, and like obviously for us, me and Tess being in different states and 2 different time zones, trying to manage to even get us together. We both have 2 young kids, like, so you know, and I think it was probably the best advice we've had from anyone so far, was to move to the lives where you can, because the games, they're massive. So I can imagine what it's like for you when you have to actually attend every one of them as well. Like, so it's but you love it.
Best hobby in the world, though. It's the best hobby in the world. I wouldn't change it for anything. I'm combining going to the Villa and having fun with my mates, and also creating content. It's the best. I absolutely love it. It's
amazing too as well, because a lot of your friends, because I've watched the show for a long time now, and you see like Jamie, Craig, Simon, they're all there with you the whole way through. And
I know. You can see if you look at some of the old videos, the way we've all sort of grown up. I think if you go back to the championship days, and I was like 16, 17, 18 years old, you can sort of see the progression in like maturity as well. Like we still have fun now. Okay, maybe I don't want to say like we are mature now, because we still have a drink and waffle absolute nonsense a lot of the time. But I think we've sort of grown up with each other, and the content has sort of evolved in that way. Where we have
microcosm of life, isn't it? Like that you've all kind of moving on to different parts of your life. You've had a girlfriend coming in and out of the show, and you know it does show it develop. Because I remember watching your very early content, and I don't mean to embarrass or anything, but I remember when it was really good. But like I used to really enjoy it because it was fun. It was when you used to be doing the videos of trying to recreate goals. Remember? Remember those early days? Yeah, that's how long I'm watching. That's how long I'm watching your stuff. Like that's a long time ago. Like.
But I think it works well, because it's authentic as well. Like it's real. Like we are genuine mates that like we don't stage stuff or Simon, could you do this because it'll be funny for the video. Like they don't. Simon's not like a creative or anything like that. He doesn't think, oh, that'll be good for the video. Like it's literally just real. That is exactly what happened.
That would be your day if you didn't have a camera in your with you anyway. Like.
Absolutely, yeah. Like we don't do anything. Oh, this will be good for the video. We'll go here. Like no, it's real, and I think that's why it works. Like I've met these people through Villa. Like I wouldn't have many mates at all if it wasn't for Aston Villa. I met Simon through Villa, Craig through Villa in a roundabout way. Met my girlfriend through Villa in a weird way. So yeah, it's brilliant, and it's my life.
It's 100% authentic, that's for sure. And I also like what you do with the youngsters. You get the young kids on and do those little predictions as well. Like, give us your score, mate, and give us an up the Villa, and that's brilliant. I think that's amazing. Definitely authentic, but it gives the youngsters an opportunity to get themselves on the camera as well while you're doing your day as well. Yeah,
100%. I think, like, for example, I don't want to dig him out, but Dan Bardell gives me some stick sometimes because it's like my audience is all kids, but it's not. I think it's weird because my audience, I can see the demographics on my analytics on the channel. It's literally 5-6-year-olds who, like you said, come on the video and give us a big up the Villa, and also like I get like people who are in their 80s and absolutely love it. So it's not like it's a certain demographic. Obviously, you think vlogging in football stadiums is aimed at the youngsters, these youngsters creating content, filming at the football, but like, it's all ages, and it's fantastic. And I love speaking to the kids because, not to sound too egotistical, but they are excited to see me. And I've been in that position as well, where like even the guys who were creating Villa content before me, I was excited to go on fan cams on the Villa View years and years ago. And I looked up to these guys, and to have the kids come up to me and to be excited and want to get on the video is great. Like before the game yesterday, oh, Max, can I come and be on the video and give you score prediction? Of course you can. I love that sort of thing. It's fantastic because I've been where those kids are when they're 5, 6, 7 years old and excited to be on the video. So I love it.
We had Peter Witt on here a couple of weeks ago. Like, he lives here in Perth, and he said the very same to us, Tes, didn't he? Because I said, because Tes was asking him, is it Arab people coming up there and stuff, like, and he was like, because the guy who introduced me to him had said, like, because they golf together or whatever, and like the lad I won't name names now, do I know, was saying to him, like, do you not get annoyed, like, you're out playing out? And he was like, but I remember being a kid in Liverpool trying to climb fences to meet the footballers. Like, I remember what it's like, you know. So he's like, I'll never lose that want, like, you know. And it's good. And I think if the modern footballers could start thinking a little bit more along those lines as well, I think it would be brilliant for the game, to be honest. But
that would be nice. That'd be nice.
I don't think we're ever going to see that.
Well, exactly. And I just, we've all got that shared interest of Aston Villa. So I could talk to absolutely anybody about Villa. I could have never met you, never seen you, no idea. But if you come up to me and start chatting Villa, it's that shared interest, isn't it? And we can just chat about anything, which is so unique in life as well, that you just immediately got that spark and you can just chat for ages.
Unbelievable. Because just on that note there, Spud, you can chat to anybody. I went the other day, and there were some organisers here for Australian fans, and they organised a get-together for the first game of the season against Newcastle. I'll pop Stacey Jane's comment up here. She organised this event which happened in Brisbane, and I thought to myself, do I go, or like, do I, you know, because it's really nice to go meet other Villa fans, especially when you're out here in Australia. You know, once or twice in a blue moon, you might see somebody wearing a Villa shirt, and the first thing you do is like, up the Villa, like, you know, and you get the acknowledgement. And I decided to go to this event, and it was unbelievable. Like, just to see all the Villa fans that had come from the Gold Coast, they had come from Victoria, they had come from the Brisbane, Sydney, all over the place to Brisbane just to meet up, to be with other Villa fans. And it was absolutely amazing. And as soon as you got the shirt on, your family, if that makes sense, you know, like, everyone just kind of welcomes you. You give everyone hugs and stuff, and it was brilliant. It was such a really good thing to do. So Villa does actually help you to get new friends, and always got time to talk about the Villa, haven't you? So yeah, I agree with that.
That's very good. I did notice, you know, you joke about the demographic and the young people in the videos, but I must say, the one thing I've noticed progress a lot, and obviously that's down to being in Europe as well. I've noticed you're starting to get a lot of fans from the opposition clubs who were playing are starting to come into your YouTube comments and commenting on your videos and thanking you for showing the city and stuff. I've seen that. Starting to see a lot more of that recently, or towards last season anyway. Are you noticing a lot of that? Are you getting in touch a lot more from people from the other clubs and stuff as well? The European clubs?
I think so. Yeah, definitely. And I think, like I said, I remember the Liverpool game last year. I think it was on a Saturday night at like 8 o'clock, and my sister had gone to university in Liverpool. So I've been to Liverpool quite a bit, and I love the city. It's absolutely brilliant. Again, I think it's probably a city a little bit like Birmingham that gets a little bit of stereotypical flack for some reason. But I want to show off and give these cities justice. And that's one that springs to mind. Like, you go through the comments on that Liverpool video, and probably about 60% of the video is just taking you around Liverpool and showing you what it's like, taking you to the local pubs and the town hall and all these beautiful buildings and stuff like that. So that's what it's all about. And I think that's why the subscribers keep going up as well, because people are still tuning in, even if they're not a Villa fan. That's why it does quite well, because it is showing off towns. And like I said earlier, we are quite relatable as a bunch, and It's just football fans can enjoy seeing other fans, their journey, whether it's the highs, the lows. That's what it's all about. So yeah, definitely that you do notice quite a lot of opposition fans. Even already, there's a few Brentford fans, as you would in the comment section of yesterday's video, doing saying fair enough, like yeah, great win, whatever. So yeah, it's nice to see that sort of relationship there, because yeah, it's nice to get along with other fans. Absolutely.
So we had your best video and best visit in the conference, which is Mostar. What about the Champions League last year? What's the standout for you?
We went to this place twice, and it was sort of other ends of the spectrum. Bruges. I think the first time was.
It looks class. I've never been, but it looks sensational.
It looks
I remember
amazing.
I posted that video, and somebody then at Villa Park a couple of weeks later said, "Oh, I've booked a weekend away with the missus to Bruges now, all because of your video." I was like, "Wow, I should be on the tourist board here." But the first time it wasn't great. I mean, the away end is dreadful. If you watch the video, it's absolutely awful, like bordering dangerous. But the town is absolutely beautiful. It's stunning. It's your classic sort of quaint European city, not a classic massive one. Like you can walk around, no problem. It's really, really small. You can walk anywhere. But just the buildings, the beer is quite strong. It's quite full on.
You're a fan of the Belgian beer too.
Well, yeah, maybe for one
Belgian.
night only. Oh, it was lethal, absolutely lethal. But it was absolutely stunning. I think when was this? The second time we went there, was it end of Feb, maybe Marchish? But the weather was really, really nice. I think that always helps. And again, really, really friendly. Everyone's saying hello. Bruges fans were loving it. It was a really, really beautiful place. So if anybody ever gets the opportunity, definitely go to Bruges, because it's not even that far. I think we drove to that one. I think it took us longer to get to Dover to get to the port. Oh no, was it Dover? Yeah, it was Dover. It took us longer to get there than Calais to Bruges. So it was literally like an hour and a half, 2 hours the other end. And it was a stunning place. We drove there, and yeah, it was fantastic. We stayed just outside the square. It was beautiful.
Yeah, for Australian fans, that's just around the corner.
Yeah, it's a different world, isn't it, over there? Different world.
Hey Max, what has been the most difficult ground to get to so far? What's been the most challenging from a transport point of view? Doesn't have to be Europe, can be England or Europe. What for you is the way there has been most difficult or most challenging? Like,
can't say Villa Park because of the train station either.
I don't know. I think they've all been pretty okay. I think Bruges was a bit of a faff after the game, because a lot of these European games, they put buses on for you. Maybe Young Boys was a bit of a struggle as well. They put buses on for you, but I think Bruges Young Boys was difficult as well, because they only give us 2 or 3 buses when you've got like maybe 1, 2, maybe even 3,000 Villa fans that absolutely have to get back to the city centre, because a lot of these grounds are an hour and a half, 2 hours walk out of the centre. So they put a bus back on. And I remember Bruges I know I've just lauded it and it was a beautiful place, but after the game, the organisation was dreadful. They basically pen you in. So you leave the away end, you go onto this massive sort of gravel car park, and you stood there for the best part of Legia Warsaw was the same as well, where you stood in the pitch black. Warsaw was you stood next to a river. All these thousands of Villa fans are on a tiny, narrow path. It's pitch black. There's trees. There's police everywhere. And the police, specifically in Poland, they don't take any rubbish. They'll basically just stand there with their visors on, with their riot shields like that, face to face with you. They're all like 7 foot, just glaring at you for the best part of 2 hours. Yeah. And these buses come. Everybody surges to get onto these buses, because if you don't, you're waiting another hour, because they've got to go to the centre, then come back. You're not even guaranteed to get on them ones again. So everybody races, people kick off. The police are shoving people for not a lot, to be totally honest with you. So although pre-match is always fantastic in European games, I think after the game, sometimes you're not treated too well. Legia Warsaw is probably the worst. I think for Young Boys, we just sacked off the buses and just walked back to the centre, which took us about 45 minutes. Especially when it was quite warm actually that night, so we didn't mind too much. But yeah, Legia Warsaw wasn't pleasant. I've heard quite a few stories. I think Leicester played there potentially, and they were there till the early hours, just stood there. Yeah, and it's not pleasant. Like when you've got fans who, are unable to stand for that long, it just makes the whole thing a little bit toxic and a little bit sour. But on the whole, we do have decent experiences. It's just the sort of nature of just putting 3 buses on for 2,000 people is just daft.
Do you ever get told to turn off your camera?
What, by like other fans and stuff, or
yeah, like by other fans, or maybe like if you're in the waiting area or being held before you can actually go home, police or stewards like get camera off, turn your camera off or anything?
Not really. I think although I've done it for so long, I'm still quite nervous about people looking at me when I'm filming. I think people, I guess, because I go home and away now, and because I've done it for so long, people sort of know that I'm going to be doing it. But I try not to, like, even during the game and stuff, I'm not holding the camera high. You can probably tell by looking at my nostrils. I'm quite like sort of discreet about it. But no, I haven't had too many issues. I think back in the day, I had a couple of issues with other fans and stuff that don't take too kindly to it, which is absolutely fine. Like, if you don't want to be in the background of it, just have a word. It's not a problem. It's just when people get a little bit aggressive and it sort of marries up with how we're doing on the pitch. I think Man United away last game of last season, we concede the second goal and it's like, okay, we're not going to get Champions League football here. And then a fella behind sort of seemed to think that was my fault because I was filming it. But on the whole, people are so friendly. They sort of get along with it. I've never had any issues with Villa. Villa are fantastic about it.
Have you had much dialogue with them? Have they kind of wanted to talk to you about it, or is it just, do they kind of leave you to it as long as you?
No, they sort of leave me to it.
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, fair enough. Like they just let me crack on, especially in the whole 10. Like even the stewards and stuff, I have a chat with them. They're absolutely fine. I'll have a pre-match chat with them.
It's free promoting them, do like as exactly. In like there's clubs in Europe that are seeing Villa Park, like, say you play against, we'll say Bruges, and then Bruges fans start watching your video and they, Birmingham, Villa Park, that looks like a nice place. It's just that's the kind of direction the club is going to go anyway. So it is a free outlet for them too, So
pretty much, yeah, I think so. I don't know, but in terms of other clubs, people, what I do, because I have two cameras. I have a camera that I use like before the game and stuff, and when we're walking around, which is quite fragile. But then I have like a GoPro style camera that I use during the game. So I've got two cameras. So what I'll do when I'm going into a ground, I'll say, Simon, can you hold my GoPro camera? So it doesn't. But technically, you're not meant to film the pitch in the Premier League and EFL because it's copyright laws. So I give Simon that camera. I only have one camera because if I'm walking in with multiple cameras and a phone and a microphone in my pocket, they might think, what's this guy doing here? So normally, I'm absolutely fine getting into grounds and stuff, even if technically I'm not meant to record the pitch, which I try and avoid. Even if people do watch the videos to see the goals, can't really do that.
Yeah. It's good to see what happens around before or after that, though. And the fans' reaction. I always love the fan reactions as well to kind of get a sense of how it's going in there. And especially when there were chances missed. I watched the video today and you can see the frustration, like, what's going on? And it's actual just real stuff. Like, it's in the fans and you can hear it in the background that all the other fans are feeling the same way you are. It's unbelievable just to be able to capture that kind of moment, especially for us. We can't be there. We're more than 24 hours away. And Spud was lucky to go to a game last season. You get to go to a couple last season, Spud?
I've been to the last two home games. Yeah, I was at the Spurs game this last May, and then I was at the Villa and Liverpool, the Trial the year before. I used to go to games all the time, obviously, when I lived in Ireland. And then I've been lucky enough now, to be fair. I've got back for quite a few games. I was back for the playoff final in 2018. I was back for the Villa and Everton. Like, anytime I go home, I obviously go over the games. But the last two trips, I've went specifically for the game, to meet up with friends in Birmingham. Lads fly over from Ireland or whatever. But I was meant to meet Paddy, obviously, the last time I went back for the Spurs game, which that's when the 10 days out, they changed the game, remember? They changed it to the Friday night. Paddy couldn't make it. I was meant to stay in London that night and meet a friend. I had to cancel on the friend. He had to cancel his flights. I had to go to...
That's modern football. That's modern football.
That's it. But that's, look, you book it. You book it with that risk. And I think I'll be going home to see my mother this May. So there's a good chance I'll be in for the last home game of the season this year as well. So I can't really complain if I live so far away and I've managed to make the last 3 home games of the season. So yeah, no complaints. So I try and get there. Anytime I'm back in Ireland, I'll always make my way over. Like, so it's good. Like, 'cause you keep your membership going and stuff there, so it's good.
Hey, Spud, can we just grab a couple of comments and throw a few comments in just to break this up a little bit? We've got Mark Smith here. One of our regular listeners. He's, I think, season ticket holder, goes to every game, and I'm always like messaging him and like what's happening and stuff, because he's been over to Australia and become a good friend of ours now. So he says, "Good day, lads. Nice to see the fantastic Mr. Max Stokes on your channel. He's our very own Judith Chalmers. We saw Max in Bruges in the square this year. That was an amazing away day trip."
It was fantastic. Bruges was unbelievable. That square was just rammed with Villa fans. I think over to one side there was, I don't know what it was. I think there was a beautiful bar with like a balcony. It was the biggest flag I've ever seen in my life. I think it was AVFs. I can't remember where they were from, but they had a massive like Union Jack hanging over this like balcony. It was I've never seen a flag so
really,
big.
yeah?
There was loads of Villa fans just stood there in the square, booting a football around. It was just good vibes. And I think what I would say is that Villa fans have been so well behaved on these trips. Like we have. Whether it comes from the England national team or whatever it is, I think even them on the whole are fairly well behaved, but we've been perfect. And you see the likes of Leggy Warsaw come to Villa Park and kick off to the point where they're not even allowed in the ground. It's just bizarre. But I think Villa fans have just enjoyed these European trips because it's been so long since we've regularly had them. But yeah, we've been really, really well behaved, and it's been a pleasure because I'd never followed Villa in Europe. I think it'd been 13 years before the Conference League. So yeah, it's a great addition to our regular travels.
And we're massive. So well, James Wood, a regular listener to us, well done, Max, deserves all the credit. Coming away from standing on the cold Championship Wednesday night, waiting to go on fan cam with Dan and Dan.
Blimey. Yeah, those midweek losses to Barnsley, Ipswich, I think we lost at home to QPR. Just feels like decades ago, doesn't it? But it actually wasn't that long ago. So yeah, a different world that was.
Yeah. We've also got one here from Darren Stewart, who's on Facebook. And what sort of costs are involved when traveling to Europe?
Well, it sort of depends how on it you are, and we're very much on it. So, for example, the fixtures for the Europa League will be announced on Friday, I believe, this week. But then the actual dates of the fixtures are announced on Saturday. So, for example, when this happened last year and the fixtures and the dates were announced for the Champions League, we were at Leicester. We were in a pub in Leicester because we were playing Leicester away. So,
I remember the video. I remember that video. Yeah, I remember you were with your phones booking flights.
Booking flights. It's like, oh my God, we've got to do it now, because if we waited till we got home, these flights are going to, instead of being 100 quid, they're going to be 700, 800 because the demand is just going to skyrocket and they're going to be sold out. And then we're going to have to spend loads more getting there. So if you're quick and you're on it and you don't mind staying in a hotel, which isn't 4-star, 5-star, and is literally just a room underground, like we were in Amsterdam. It was just a room that was about 10 meters long, that wide, and they'd somehow squeeze 7-8 beds in there. You split it between all of you, and you're prepared to stay in a room with 7 other blokes or 6 other blokes. Like, it's fine, and the cost isn't too bad. Obviously, it's an expensive thing to do, but this year, what I'm trying to do is keep tally of how much all the trains cost, all the tickets cost, all the flights, whatever, and then at the end of the year, I'll do a video potentially explaining this sort of thing and putting context to it. But like I said, if you're on it and you're quick and you're wise and you don't mind staying in not the best places, it's not too bad. I think all in all, last year, all the flights that we did for all the Champions League group games, so there's 4 there. I think we only spent 350, 400 quid for 4 sets of flights, so 8 flights, which isn't too bad at all. So if you're on it, it's not too bad.
To be fair, when I go back to the UK anyway, like, and I always go to a game and stuff, and if I have to fly from here and I'm flying through Hong Kong into Heathrow and then make my way to Birmingham, whatever, like, sometimes I use the buses anyway, because, like, I'd say it's nearly as expensive to go to an away trip in England on the train as it is to get a flight to Amsterdam, is it?
It's mental. The trains are a lot. I've got a rail card, which saves me about a third, I think. But for example, going down to London yesterday cost me 26 quid if you haven't got a rail card. So for my mates, it was like 40 quid, I think. But yeah, the trains are absolutely ridiculous in this country. Like, if we wanted to get the train to Newcastle, for example, I haven't looked, but you're probably looking at over 100 quid. And it's
Are you kidding me?
It's absolutely, it's mad. It's just not worth it. So that's why we drive up there for Sunderland away. We'll probably stay the Saturday night in Newcastle because it's on the Sunday, and just drive up there because the trains, London isn't too bad because the trains are so regular and whatever. But if Liverpool again for Everton away, we're doing that, which is about 25 quid on the train, which is fine. But anywhere further than that, it's just mental.
Wow. I wouldn't know because I haven't been home for a long time, so wouldn't know how much it costs. I saw that you said that a pint was like £7 or something like that.
Yeah, that's London for you. That's the London prices, as you probably know. But yeah.
So what's it like in Birmingham? What's it like, for example, what's a pint in Birmingham?
It depends where you go. I think
$5.50 is it usually? I think London is a good bit more expensive.
4 and 6 quid. But if you go to like one of your classic back corner social clubs, you can probably get it below 4 quid. But yeah, 5 or 6 quid is probably where you're at.
You're talking about $15 here for a pint these days.
How much is that in pounds?
Like that's
about $7.50.
About $7.50. Yeah.
I remember when we went to America, it was quite expensive for pre-season in 2023. That was the only time I've ever been to America. And yeah, I remember that being quite expensive in terms of drinks and stuff. And I don't think Americans, no offense to any Americans, but their beer selections are okay. They're not quite as good as they are here because it's not necessarily their thing as much as it is ours. But yeah, it was quite expensive there as well. I do remember that.
Max, you spoke about the Europa League draw coming up Friday, and that was the kind of one of the main things I'd like to speak to you about here is, have you got a preference? Is there any specific, I won't say club, but country or city that you're just hoping we'll put out of the draw for your own personal reasons for travel, not necessarily for a good draw or anything, but is there any, when you're looking at that team and you're writing them up at the moment, you'd love to draw?
I've got the potential list up here. I still don't think all the teams are confirmed, but the ones that are already in pot one by the looks of it, you've got Roma, Porto. Feyenoord away would be brilliant because obviously that's the ground that we won the European Cup in. That would be unbelievable. Yeah. But just some obscure places. I think the one that me and Simon were talking about this week was, I think Celtic are playing a Kazakhstani team in the Champions League qualifier, and the first leg was 0-0. So Celtic beat them. This Kazakhstani team will drop down to the Europa League, I believe. And we looked at where it was, and it's literally on like the Chinese border. It's that really far away.
Yeah, that's right.
We tried to price it up, and I think if we'd have to do it by flying from Birmingham or Stansted or whatever it is to Istanbul, which is about 4 hours, and then Istanbul to this place in Kazakhstan called Almaty, which is another 5.5 hours beyond that. So you're talking like 10 hours away from where we are here. I'd just love to do something like that. Like we talked about Bosnia earlier and these obscure random places. I think Chelsea.
You're never going to go on holidays. You're never going to, like, this is your opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we've done like France and Belgium to death. Like I'd never turn down a trip there, obviously, because you come across some beauties. But yeah, maybe even a Spanish one like Celta Vigo, I think are in there. I think there's a couple of others potentially. Portugal, it would be nice to go there. Braga, I think, are potentially in there. I think their ground is unreal, Braga. I think behind the goal, it's not even a stand, it's just a massive rock. So just like quirky places like that would be unbelievable. Yeah. And some random places here. Who have we got in pot 4? Who have we got? Genk. Again, I don't really want to go back to Belgium. Malmo. I think I've never been to like the Scandinavian countries. Yeah, so Sweden, Norway, somewhere random like that. I think Bodo Glimt, we nearly got them in the Conference League because I think they beat Ajax. So we very nearly got them. But that's like North Norway, I think, and you have to fly
the stadium somewhere. Looks class as well. They played Spurs in the semi-final last year. It looks unreal.
I think when Chelsea went to Kazakhstan as well, it was like -20. So just these quirky, random experiences. I'd absolutely love that. Just somewhere random, please.
I think Mark Smith's after asking a question there that I was actually going to ask you myself. So will you bring up Mark's last comment there? Max, as a man who goes to games all the time, you're the one who has to endure these travels up and down the league every day, every second week. Would you take a Spurs season now as a travel fan?
Yes.
Or do you think it's just too much of a slog?
Maybe 17th is rough. Like the 17th is poor. Isn't it? Like it's so bad. I think Spurs and Man United are buzzing that the 3 teams below them were so bad that they were never really in danger.
They're lucky though. There's the other year. Well, none of people realize how bad they actually were. Like,
yeah, really dreadful.
I'd have a hard time.
At the end of the season, you've qualified for the Champions League and you've won a trophy. That's the 2 ticks for the season for me: Champions League and trophy. Trophy more for me because that's why I spend so much money following Villa. I want to win a trophy. That's the end goal. Yeah. Emery always talks. Obviously, it's different because money is so ridiculously ruling over football right now. But money, Champions League money. Emery always talks about consistency in the Premier League. Whenever everybody asks him these sorts of questions, what you're prioritising or what's the sort of team going to be in the Europa League, whatever, something like that, he'll always talk about the Premier League and being consistent and stuff like that. So it's probably different. Well, obviously they'll want to win a trophy, but it's probably different in terms of levels of priority for people at the top of the club. But for me, I'm just desperate to win a trophy. It's been 30 years now. Last season, we saw Palace, Tottenham, Newcastle win a trophy, and I'm so unbelievably jealous. If Palace never win a trophy ever again, their fans will die happy. That day for them was just unbelievable. What I'd give to win an FA Cup.
I was happy for them. I was happy for them after they beat us, though. Obviously, I wasn't happy when they beat us, but I was happy they went on and won it. Because it was always going to mean more to them than City, like than it ever would have. You know, so when I was
watching the final, I was like, "Oh, can Man City just win here?" Because I just, in a selfish way, because I just know I'd be ridiculously jealous of Crystal Palace. And obviously when they're celebrating, the final whistle goes, you can't help but smile, because you can just tell as fellow football fans how much it meant to them. And I just think if we won a trophy, it would just be the icing on the cake. And if Emery goes in 1, 2, 3, 10 years and he hasn't won a trophy, so okay, that period was great. We had some great moments, took PSG to the wire, but ultimately, what does it mean? Why do we follow football? It's for success and for moments, and you get those moments, but what do they actually mean in the long run? I'm just desperate to win a trophy. People might feel differently and want to get in the Champions League because what it means for the club in the long term and money and stuff like that. But FA Cup, Europa League, whatever it is,
I'd love to win the FA Cup. I keep saying it. Like, I think the FA Cup still has this magic for me. Growing up with football, and I would love to see us win the FA Cup. If I had a trophy of choice at the moment, even with the Europa League and stuff, but I'm still like really want to do really well in the FA Cup.
I think Palace sort of helped that, didn't they? Because it was like people over the last few years have talked about, it was the magic of the FA Cup dying. You know, Man City have won it, and you can see they don't even sell out at the FA Cup final for various reasons, understandable reasons, but you can just tell it doesn't really mean a lot. I remember when Man City beat us in the Carabao Cup final in 2020, their fans are leaving before the final whistle. It just doesn't mean anything, but you can sort of see it was really refreshing last season, however painful it was, to see how much it meant to Newcastle, to Crystal Palace, to see those fans who had never seen success or hadn't seen success in a long time, how much it meant to them. I can only imagine how I'd feel being in that stand when Villa lifted a trophy and John McGinn as captain lifted a trophy. It would just be unbelievable. And all these dreadful games that we'd been to, Brentford, Palace, it was, just be unbelievable.
Finishing 17th would feel like a slog, right? At the time for you, going to every game. But you know what? When you got to the Europa League final, that wouldn't even matter anymore. That would be all just washed away in one victory, and that's what I'm hoping we don't draw a Turkish team this year. I hope our first foray to Istanbul will be for the final this year.
Well, Fenerbahce are in there, aren't they? It'll be nice reunion with John Duran, maybe Mourinho. Wouldn't fancy us there.
I don't Mourinho. We'll see. They play Benfica, and the loser of that, they're 0-0 from the first leg, so the loser of that goes into the Europa League. So it's the Fenerbahce or Benfica. So there's going to be one or two good teams coming down, but you could just picture meeting John Duran in the final. I don't think I'd like that either.
If he's not suspended, we'll see.
Max, you've been so good with your time, mate, and we really appreciate it. But just one last thing we wanted to talk to you about there. Obviously, you released a video today, but you also released something else. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your new venture, please?
Yeah, so myself, Dan Rollinson from the Claret and Blue podcast, Dan Bardell from 1874, and Rob Warner, who's got vast experience in creating football kits and fashion, and he knows what he's talking about. We've come together and made a Villa clothing brand, essentially. So I think we've basically tried to create some clothing that we'd want to wear to the football. Like, football shirts aren't for everyone. Maybe you want something a little bit more subtle, just... okay, he's not in a Villa shirt, but he's got a little logo on his top that's a nice little nod to the AV floodlights of the past or something like that. So, we've come together, got a few designs at the moment. One's recently come out with a nice back print of Rotterdam 1982. Nice design on there that's been bespoke, created by an Aston Villa fan who's an artist, specifically for this design for Founders. And there's a new design that's live now on foundersdesign.co.uk. But just looking forward to creating more designs, more clothing that people can enjoy wearing and wear to the games.
I've got to tell you, it looks amazing.
We are, just for the listeners too, we are going to purchase a couple over the next couple of weeks. Myself and Tess for the podcast. So we will be giving away one of Max's designs here on the show over the next couple of weeks. So keep an eye out for that.
All the founders. We'll mention all the founders, the Dans as well. Obviously, we'll mention all of them. But yeah, sorry, Spud, just to cut you. Just want to make sure that everyone gets their flowers on this one.
Yeah.
Because it's really a really nice brand.
That's really good, and we wish you the best of luck with it, Max. It's great to see.
Sorry to interrupt. I'd give a shout out to Dan Rollinson, because essentially it's his brainchild, and he's sort of got in touch with us to get all of us on board as well as him. But the effort he's put in terms of all the stuff that people don't see, like the legal stuff and tax stuff and all of this sort of bits and bobs, he's done the
grinding stuff that it takes someone to put their head into. Like, it's not. Yeah,
it's not just like, okay, we'll create something, sell it. There's so much more to that. And I think, Dan Rollinson has done an unbelievable job there. So shout out to him. It's an exciting time for us.
And
yeah,
if
one
there
day
is
we'll try to get him on and have a chat to him about this stuff as well.
Good bloke.
100%, yeah. And Max, if there is anyone here in Australia that'll be listening to this that hasn't come across your own content yet, do you want to let people know how they can find it so they can start following the games from here? Because the thing for me is that's what I love about it. For me, I've messaged you before, like, and I was saying, being here in Australia, I don't get to go to the same amount of games as I like that. As I loved that, and I used to when I was at home. So I watch every episode because genuinely, I get up 2:00 in the morning to watch the games. Then I get up the next morning and watch your content, the away games, the home games, everything. So I think it's brilliant, and I think if people watch it, they will certainly watch it again. So do you want to kind of let people know how they can come across it?
Yeah. So Villa on Tour on YouTube, and it does what it says on the tin. We go to every single game, pre-season games as well. Sometimes the pre-season trips to America or maybe Australia, we'll see in the future. But it's all about just a close group of mates, relatable, go to games, have a couple of drinks, have a bit of fun before the game, and then filming ourselves and what we go through in the stands as well, whether it's ecstasy with a last-minute winner or it's a dreadful performance like yesterday against Brentford. Whatever it is, come along for the ride. And yeah, just enjoy it because we enjoy making it. And like I said, it's relatable. So yeah, Villa on Tour on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all of that sort of thing.
Just like this, if you do watch Max's video content, make sure you hit the subscribe, make sure you hit the like, guys, because it doesn't cost anything. Myself, when I listen to podcasts, I do hit the like or the subscribe because I don't think people realize how much it actually helps it. It does help it get out there. It's only a small thing. It doesn't cost. So this episode, please, lads, if you give it a share for us, if you can give it a like, and Max's stuff when you watch that, hit the like and the share.
Yeah,
we don't expect anything really from it. We do this for chat, but it is the thing that really helps the podcast grow. Tes, can you just let the audio listeners that will be listening to this on Spotify and Apple tomorrow where they can find ourselves? Please.
Yeah, so you can find us on X at Pride Down Under. We're also available on Instagram, and we have our YouTube channel. So if you haven't yet hit the subscribe button, like button, we will drop some links into our description today for Founders. It's .co.uk.
That's the one, foundersdesign.co.uk. Yeah,
foundersdesign.co.uk, and also a link to Villa on Tour. You probably already have that link and subscribe, but please give that a like and a follow. Max, just want to say thank you for coming on and talking to us because we know that you're extremely busy, but it's really nice for us to be able to talk to you and get Australian fans to be able to view your content as well and share the love around Villa.
No, it's a pleasure, lads. Thank you very much for inviting me on. Like we said earlier, like we've never met before, never spoke before, but we've just chatted amazingly for the last 40, 45 minutes about Villa. So guys, thank you very much. And yeah, Villa are massive. Villa are everywhere.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, absolutely.
And hopefully you might join us again down the line, Matt, and Max, and tell us about your adventures in the Europa League as they come.
Maybe
out.
After a victory. Get me on after a victory.
I thought this was going to be after a victory, if I'm honest.
Yeah, me too.
I'll tell you what, one thing though, if you do get to come to Australia and there's a pre-season over here, there's a home over here for you, man. Like if you ever need anywhere to stay, we'll be there to help you, man. And if you want to come and have a couple of beers, we've got some decent beer.
Legend.
We've got some
Look
decent beer over here.
Maybe one day.
Absolutely. Thanks to everyone that was in the comments there and watch live here, even if you didn't comment. But we're seeing a lot of names starting to come on. We've noticed the last couple of weeks, particularly, there's been a huge following, and people are starting to get in touch with us a bit more and stuff. And we just want to thank everyone because that's really what it's all about, isn't it? Building a bit of a community together. So all we can do really is say up the Villa, and hopefully we'll be back on Thursday for the Crystal Palace preview. And hopefully, as Max said, we're talking about a win the next time. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.